Well, I thought, so I just got back from like a long run, and I thought that we had 10 days until we're leaving, but we actually had 7. So it actually took us a bit by surprise, but I don't know, it was more like the logistics. I was just hoping everything was sorted with the van and stuff like that, but I was never in doubt about the actual running aspect of it. Well, in terms of the food, I think we pretty much did use all the food that we bought. There was a lot more stuff that I got that I didn't need. I always like overpack really, but there was like, I mean, the waterproofs and stuff like that we didn't actually end up needing, but a lot of the clothes I bought I didn't end up wearing because it was just living out the bag was a bit of a pain in the arse. But yeah, I think we ended up getting everything like sorted. I don't think we left anything behind or we forgot about getting anything that we needed. I think I was just excited. I wasn't really nervous. There was so much preparation and so much like 4 months of 2.5 months, 4 months altogether, 2.5 months of prep and just me thinking about it. I just wanted to be on the road. I was just kind of wanting to be like in the middle of it. No, I thought it was going to be a lot harder, to be honest. I expected to get more injuries. I expected it to be, I don't know, sleeping in the van and the camping on the road and stuff like that, like, I'm not a massive fan of that. So, but I didn't actually think about that much. So like waking up on a morning when it's a bit cold and my legs are sore and I need to get all my stuff sorted and leave early, that was one of the hardest bits, just waking up, just being like, right, I need to do another 50k a day. So excitement, pure excitement. I've seen a lot of people do stuff like this. It's always been something that I've always like not imagined myself doing, but like, I don't know, I've always looked at, you know, a couple of the people I look up to and always thought like, that's amazing. I would love to see what I've got, see if I can do anything near what they can do. And yeah, I was just really excited to just be in that hard position where I just had to kind of dig myself out of the trenches. So that was the main thing. I wanted it to be hard so that I found out about myself, you know.
Were you thinking much about paces or kind of how fast you're going, or?
No, didn't once think about pace. I just went on feel every time, every run. So I think I started my first day was about 5:40 pace, and that was just a normal pace. I didn't really think about how fast I was running. It was a bit later on I started to pick it up, and then obviously led to problems. But no, I didn't want to think about my pace. It was all on just how I felt in the moment. So up until then, it was good conditions, good weather, no hills, nothing like that. Everything was going well. My legs were absolutely fine, and I probably got a bit ahead of myself. And then day 6, the last run of day 6, I ran too quick, and my hammy went, my right hammy. And then day 7 happened, limped the whole way on day 7. Had to strap up my leg, then my other hammy started to go, so I had to strap my other leg, and that was the first bit of proper adversity that I faced. Didn't stop us, we ended up getting the miles done, but definitely probably the hardest thing actually to deal with on the whole run overall. Yeah, I think all the big towns were stopped in. Like every time I seen civilization, it like gave us a little boost. It's not nice running through the farmlands all the time and seeing nothingness and then just deserted places. You know, like I'm not used to it. And when you want to, you know, see people and go go and get a coffee and just like basic stuff like that. But when you're not running and you're just sitting there in the sun, it's just like, it's nice to go through those big landmarks. Like Aubrey was a big one because that was like nearly halfway. Yeah, the border. Yeah, so pretty much halfway. Yeah. Yeah. So they went from cool and flat to hot, really hot, and then it wasn't actually day 7. It was like day 11 that we started to get the really big inclines. Luckily, my legs had just healed in time before we hit that massive incline. But the conditions were, heat was one of the hardest things to deal with on the whole trip for sure. I mean, I could have been more fueled. I didn't want to eat. I'm not very good at eating if I don't want to eat, like, I can't just force it down. I think I was just exhausted. It was easier to eat at the start. I think we did well with calories at the start, and then it was after the first week that it started to get hotter and I was more exhausted, and the 50Ks were harder, and then I couldn't eat my dinner, and then, you know, I was in a 3,000-4,000 calorie deficit on some days. Wasn't drinking enough water. So the fueling, I think that's just something I need to get better at. If I want to do this again, I have to fuel myself more and make it like a must. It's got to be Ned Brockman. I mean, Broadford was a highlight as well because they were just class. Donations, food, beer, like dancing, music, good crack. So that was really good, and that was our first proper stop support that we got on the way. So that'll always be one of the top moments of the trip. But the Ned Brockman moment's got to be there. Like sending us a message and then commenting on that video, and the fact that he just gave us kudos for what I was doing was enough. So that was, you know, one of my biggest inspirations to try and push myself is him. So that was an unbelievable feeling. Injury, it's got to be injury, and the hills for the first half. For the second half of the mid, and then but the injury was the worst thing. Like, that was the part where I was like not enjoying it anymore. Obviously I was gonna do what I said I was gonna do, and that wasn't the point to enjoy it. The point was to get it done. But the injury really frustrated me because I did it myself, because I, you know, ran too quick, and I knew I shouldn't have. I should have just stuck to the nice calm cruising pace. But you get ahead of yourself. You're on the roads, got the trucks flying past you, and it gives you that adrenaline boost. So I ended up picking it up and paid the price. I remember day 7, night time, I was in real pain, couldn't walk, and then day 8 was when Hughie ran the whole day with me. And that day, like, both my legs were fried, had them both strapped up, both with compression pads on. But the injury was not nice. But I knew, I had faith that if I kept my pace down for a few days, it would just heal, and it did. So. Didn't really notice. It was only on the second last day, doing the 60, that was when I started to worry a bit about the 100s, because the 60 was really hard. But the 53s, a couple K more than what we've been doing, so it didn't really bother me. Yeah, my left quad by the end of day 16, so the second last day, it just started to tighten up a bit, and that was the main pain on the last day, along with my ankle for the first 40K. But apart from that, hamstrings were all good. Legs was just tight overall across the 17 days and sore, but nothing nothing major, nothing to really complain about too much. I mean, I think we did pretty well considering we got back decently late on the second last day. I had my food straight away. We all got to bed pretty early. I mean, I didn't have enough sleep. I probably had about 4 hours, but you're never going to be able to sleep that much when you get back from doing 60 and then having to do 100 the next morning. But yeah, I was just excited to get here. I was just excited to finish. Being long and smelly and, you know, tired journey. So conditions were, well, I'm actually the day 15, 16 and 17, the hills stopped and we got a nice bit of decline from having all that incline the previous 4 or 5 days. So that was really nice. There was still little hills here and there, but it was mostly decline when it was a hill. The last day the conditions were pretty perfect. It was actually cold when we woke up. It was like 9 degrees. It's usually been like 20 when we wake up on the normal days, but I think we got blessed with the weather on the last day. It was a bit of a breeze, so it was nice and cool. 22 to 24 degrees max. Sun was still out, so it wasn't too cold, but yeah, conditions were pretty perfect on the last day. So yeah, I got stopped by a man in a van with a high vis on, saying you can't run on the highway. I explained I've been running on the highway for the past 17 days, and I was sorry, but I have to finish this challenge. This is the last day. I've got 40k to go. I'd done 60k that day. I just had to get it done. He said, I'm going to call the police. I said, okay, well, I'll speak to the police. So I kept running, and then he called the police. The police came and I explained what was going on, and he rang his boss, spoke to the boss, and the boss just said we can continue. Said it was for a good cause. He said you deserve to be able to finish the run the way you want to finish it. So they set us on our way, and I was absolutely buzzing because that would have been a nightmare to try and change the route at last minute.
And then almost had another little hiccup. You started to feel a bit dizzy.
Yeah. 80K. Yeah, I think 70k. So we left that point at 60. We're done 70. I think it was about 73. And then when the lads left to go to the next stop, I just got really dizzy, and I was really out of it. My legs went jelly. I went numb. So I saw McDonald's ahead. So I ran to McDonald's. I got 20 chicken nuggets, chips and a milkshake, which is about 4,000 calories. Shoveled all that in, and then I was ready to go again. But yeah, I was just low on calories. I think I burnt like, yeah, I still am. I think I burnt like 11 or 12k calories in that last day. So pretty insane. I was tired, I was a bit exhausted, I couldn't take it in as much as I probably wanted to. It was amazing to be finished. I couldn't believe I could sleep in the next day and not have to get up and, you know, run that distance. But I was just chuffed. I was so happy that I'd done it. The support, the messages I was getting from back home was unbelievable, and just that feeling of like accomplishment was just amazing, that I said what I was going to do and I did it. So I don't know, to be honest, this is the hardest out of the whole thing, the day after I finished, because I felt a bit lost. I felt a bit down in the dumps somehow, and I spoke to a few of the lads back home and they just said, mate, like, you need to embrace and take in what you've done. You've done an amazing thing, and this challenge has consumed my life for the past 4 months consumed every thought I've thought about. Nothing else matters but this. I'm going to get there when I say it. So finishing was really tough because I woke up the next day and I felt like my purpose had gone. I had to go back to normal 22-year-old boy stuff, like getting into a hostel and paying for a week or two in the hostel, which was expensive. Then my mates, some of them are leaving soon, so realising I'm going to have to, you know, be on my own. Just the normal life again is tough to go back to when you've been through that for the past 2 weeks, for nearly 3 weeks of your life. Definitely still on my mind. Kind of just need to settle, have a little holiday, settle, and then get the next challenge planned, because I think this is just what I'm meant to do. Me and Jim are gonna, so Hughie's gone. Hughie went back to Melbourne. He needs to drive the van back to Perth. So Hughie loves Perth. He likes his own company, likes beaches, likes the hot weather. So Perth is the perfect place for him. So we're sad to see Hughie go. Hughie's one of my best mates from back home, and you know, we've been through a lot the past 3 or 4 weeks, and since we've been in Australia, really past 4 months. So you know, spending that much time with one of your best mates for that long, and then him just leaving after doing something like that is hard. I've still got Jimbo, don't worry. I'm very happy with Jim, don't worry. Me and Jim are gonna go to Byron Bay in maybe 2 weeks time. In 2 weeks time we go to Byron Bay, have a few days there, then we're gonna have a trip up to the Gold Coast and have a week there and just kind of chill out and, you know, just have a holiday. Yeah, I can't just go straight in because my energy will be gone, I'll burn out. So I need to have that time off. But then when we get back, I posted on my story yesterday, 20 marathons in 10 days around Centennial Park. That's what I'm eyeing up. I'm debating that. So marathon in the morning, marathon at night, every day, 10 days round Centennial Park. I don't know how big the loop is. I don't think it's very big. So that'll be a really tough test. That'll be 84k a day for 10 days in a row, which is a huge step up. But once again, to prove to people that you can do anything. To prove to the lads, you know, the lads that I look at when I see myself when I was a bit younger and I didn't know what to do and I was a bit lost and stuff. You can't really do anything. You just have to commit to something and give it 100% and it'll work out, and I'm hoping it'll work out. So that's my plan. I'll be doing that in maybe a month's time while I'm still got all the miles in my legs. So maybe a month today we'll set off, but we'll see.